Good evening. We're going to get started in just a few. I've just gotten where we have some more people coming in, so we're getting them a few minutes, then we'll get started in about 5 minutes or so. And welcome to the summer heat. Good evening. Thank you for attending tonight's workshop. As I noted, summer is here. Wait till tomorrow. We get our first triple-digit day. My name is Michael George. I'm with Safe One Credit Union. Safe One, as well as MoneyWise Wealth Management, would like to thank you for attending tonight's workshop entitled Making the Most of Social Security and Retirement Income Strategies. As many of you know, navigating the Social Security aspects of your retirement can not only be complicated, but confusing as well. And that's why we have workshops like this, so you don't go and try to do it alone. Tonight's workshop is designed to get you information you need in order to maximize the benefits necessary for you to have an enjoyable retirement. Our presenter tonight is Chris Pelster. He's a financial advisor for MoneyWise Wealth Management and also co-host of the MoneyWise Guys radio show and podcast. Chris is a registered representative and a senior fiduciary financial advisor. He has worked with MoneyWise since 2006 and has both Series 7 and 66 securities licenses, as well as a California life insurance license. During tonight's workshop, Chris is going to offer ways to help you maximize your Social Security benefits and also describe different claiming strategies, such as how married couples can enhance lifetime payouts, spousal and survivor benefits, which is very important, the impact of working on future benefits, taxability of Social Security income, and Medicare. So as you can see, there's several topics that he's going to cover all within the umbrella of Social Security. So with that, I'm not going to waste any more time, and I'm going to turn it over to Chris Pelster with MoneyWise Wealth Management. Please help me welcome Chris.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you guys all for being here. We're really excited about these workshops that we get to do, and great technology where we can record some of this information. People can watch from the comfort of their home, but also have a nice facility to come to here. It is a long walk, but luckily the air conditioning was nice when we did get in here. So thank you for making the journey. I hope this will be worth your time, and we can also get to some questions and stuff at the end. Social Security is a very interesting thing because it actually is, it doesn't seem all that like there's that many options. Everybody turns it on at a certain age and we all kind of go to it, but it is actually very complex as far as all of our different histories and earnings histories and relationships, marriages, divorces, different things. It actually can become pretty just convoluted with different realities, and it's kind of hard to like read online about Social Security because what your specific situation might be completely different than what you're reading, where they try to write articles or information about the general public. And Social Security is a very individualized situation, and that is where it does get hard to find information about Social Security. So if everybody can read that real quick, this is our little disclaimer. Ready? Go ahead and cruise through there. Everybody got it? Okay. So our commitment is to provide sound. Let me make sure I'm not skipping one here. Yeah. Provide sound financial information, help you identify your goals, and to strategically prepare you for your retirement and future. Social Security, in reality, it's income that will last a lifetime. It offers a guaranteed income stream along with longevity protection, spousal protection, and even some inflation protected. Who knows when Social Security came about? Can anybody guess maybe a year that Social Security came into existence or when it got put into place? 1935, 36, right after obviously our economy and country went through a pretty tough economic time there with the Great Depression. So it was a way that we wanted to start to ensure that people would have at least some level of protection and income throughout the rest of the days of their life. Who knows the original name of Social Security and why we should all be glad that they changed it? Because if not, I would be giving a speech today on Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance Program, the OASDI. So I'm kind of glad that they changed it to Social Security, but that is what it was called when it was signed into law in 1935 during the Great Depression, like I said. And it remains a very important source of retirement income, and in reality, a very important source for our economy, because it is a source of income for people that are retired, people that are elderly, and it gives them a steady source of income to be able to take care of some of their expenses. Many people, it makes up a large portion of their retirement income stream. So it is a very, very important program. There's lots of opinions on Social Security. There's lots of myths about Social Security. We're going to go over some of those today to try to kind of dispel some of those things. But in reality, it has been a long-lasting program that has helped in a lot of ways. And so we'll try to break through some of the myths and kind of misconceptions about it, and you know, try to help you guys better understand what your options are. So who's eligible for Social Security benefits? It's 40 credits, which is about 10 years of work. So anybody who has 40 credits of work, it's based on the highest 35 years of earnings. So what they do is it's inflation adjusted. So obviously we weren't making as much money 30 years ago as we are today because of inflation and things going up. So they adjust for inflation. They take your top 35 years, and that's how they start to calculate what your benefit is going to be for you. So a worker with 40 credits, spouse of a, let me see if I, spouse of an eligible worker is also due a benefit. So if you are the spouse of an eligible worker, the 40 credits, an ex-spouse who was married at least 10 years to an eligible worker is also still due a benefit as well. So it also can be under an ex-spouse. So even if you're no longer married, but we're married for 10 years. And then a surviving spouse. So there's a death benefit to Social Security benefits as well for the surviving spouse. If you haven't done this yet, if you're getting close to retirement, starting to plan all these things, hopefully this workshop really helps you start to piece some things together. But I definitely suggest going to this website, setting up your account, keeping your login and password in a secure place, because if you lose it, it can be annoying having to reset it. But definitely go through this process to get your online access so that you can look at what your benefit is, your specific situation. A lot of times I've heard, it actually hasn't been the last few years, because they used to send this out every year to all of us. And then a number of years ago, to kind of cut back on paperwork and maybe some costs and mailing costs, they quit mailing out these things. I believe you get one when you turn 60, and maybe they send you another one when you hit 62. So if you're waiting for them to send you information about your Social Security benefits, they won't be sending it out unless you hit those birth dates. I would suggest as early as possible getting online, setting that up. Another thing that we'll talk a little bit about is a free analysis that MoneyWise can kind of go through for some people that are in that situation, that are thinking about what age makes sense for them. There is something that we can do for you, and if you can get this information to us, that's what would be needed to run that free analysis for you. So a lot of people hear about COLA, which is cost of living adjustments. Over here, this shows you that the average monthly benefit for Social Security, this was 2021, is $1,543. Just this update in January, the average update for Social Security is $1,907. That's actually a much bigger jump than normal that happens with Social Security. Can anybody think about why the benefits jumped up a little bit more than normal in the last couple of years? Inflation. It's the reason why our fast food meals are all $28 now. So that's what happened. So you see here, this shows you the history of cost of living adjustments. So the average historically is 3.8%, going all the way back to 1975. There's been years where the index that they use to look at inflation warranted no raise at all, or no cost of living adjustment at all. But then like 2012, 3.6, you see these different variances. You get down here to 2022 when we saw inflation take off. Based on the index in that year, cost of living adjustments was close to 6%. So up here, the average is 3.8%. Prior to that, it was only 3.6. So 1 year being almost 6% actually made a pretty big impact on the historical data for what cost of living adjustments are. Now, a lot of people will talk about cost of living adjustments and kind of almost mock them, which I understand. Things get more expensive, and cost of living adjustments sometimes maybe feel like they don't keep up. But you can understand that if we weren't getting at least a 3.8 or 3.6% average raise on Social Security, you would be having to pay more out of pocket for Medicare premiums. You'd be having to pay more out of pocket for some of the different expenses that go up with your Social Security benefit. So I understand that, sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating, or the joke is, I got a $20 a month raise, and so, where are we going with that $20? But you can definitely see that over time, if those COLA adjustments weren't made, you definitely would be feeling much more the Medicare premiums that you're having to pay for out of your Social Security benefit. So most people kind of understand some of the ages that are involved with Social Security and claiming Social Security. The earliest age you can receive it is 62. Full retirement age, they call FRA, is 66 to 67, depending on what year you were born. And latest that you can claim it or should claim it is age 70. Benefits don't go up past that, so there'd be no benefit to wait past age 70. Survivor benefits can start as early as 60. So, 62 is retirement, but a spousal benefit can start as early as 60 if a person qualifies for those spousal benefits. So when we talked about the birth year, this is kind of what it looks like here as far as when your full retirement age is. We're basically coming to the end of this, by the way, because like full retirement age being, full retirement age being age 66, that was back in 2020. So people are already getting to their full retirement age. We're getting down to the end of this. And a lot of people don't realize, we will talk about some of the complications or I guess, challenges to Social Security. A lot of people don't realize that this chart right here, or the way that they changed retirement ages actually was because they already had to address the fact of Social Security having some pressure against it and being able to pay out to all the retirees. So back in the 80s, full retirement age used to be 65 for everybody. And back in the 80s, they changed it and they did this new calculation based on your birth year of what is considered full retirement age. And they tweaked it a little bit. And that was one of the steps that they took back then to address some of the same concerns and challenges that are still kind of facing Social Security today. And I'll try to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. So that shows you the years and the amounts. So here's just kind of an example. It kind of shows you the different benefits. So somebody who was born in 1959, their full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. This shows you, their monthly benefit at 62 is that 70% amount. 100% is considered 2,000. If they waited until age 70, it's that 2,500. These are the annual amounts. Somebody that was born in 1960, their full retirement age is at 67. And so that kind of shows you their monthly amounts now and how those are impacted. So what makes sense for people and when to take Social Security, it is a very individualized situation. And it depends on when you're wanting to retire, when you're needing to replace income. There's all kinds of situations that we see. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward when you just kind of sit and look at the numbers. But I can't tell you how many different scenarios I've talked to clients about in different situations where some it makes sense to take it early, some it makes sense to wait. It all just depends on your unique situation. So this is called a break-even analysis. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said if you do download your Social Security estimate information and wanted an analysis, we can run this analysis on your individual situation. What this shows is over the lifetime of taking or getting Social Security benefits, what do I get total? Now, this assumes that you live to age 90. So that's what it shows you there is the amounts that you'll get throughout your lifetime. This is based on somebody, that either gets 1,400 at 62, 2,000 at 67, or 2,480 at age 70. And you can see that there's a break-even point that happens where if you do wait to turn on your benefits, at some point in the future, you will end up receiving more benefit from Social Security in the long run. Now, if life was perfect and simple and everybody's situations were the same, you might say, well, why doesn't everybody just wait longer? Why doesn't everybody wait till 70? You're going to get more. Well, there's all kinds of factors. And we also, I tell everybody, we normally don't really know when our expiration date is. And so there's no way to kind of create a perfect plan for each situation. What you do is you kind of analyze your situation, how you feel about different things. There could be a reason why starting it early makes much more sense. Obviously, the longer you wait, the better it can be if longevity is something that happens for you. But it's an individualized situation. There's no way to completely analyze and make the perfect decision. But that's where you kind of look at the pros and cons, you look at your situation, and you try to make the best decision possible for your unique situation. And so, like I said, if you do get your information from Social Security's website, there is an analysis tool that we can run for your specific situation. the thing that I tell people to remember is, you have to have a plan. If somebody says, well, I want to wait longer to take Social Security, but I want to retire at 62, well, then you have to say, okay, well, how are we going to make that happen? How are you going to replace your income and retire at 62, but wait to turn on Social Security? So it's not a simple answer of saying, hey, I'm going to get more money from Social Security in the long run. Well, you have to produce income now somehow, some way, and get you from 62 to 64. And so that's what I mean to say, where there's a million different scenarios that we've ran and talked to clients about their unique situations in trying to help them make the best decision that they feel comfortable about. So the spousal benefit we mentioned a little bit earlier can start as early as age 62. You must be 62 or older to qualify. This is the spousal benefit is you qualify under your spouse's earning credit. So you must have been married for at least 1 year. Your spouse must first file for Social Security benefits. So you can't turn on spousal unless they turn it on. If claimed at full retirement age, the spousal benefit would be 1/2 of your spouse's primary insurance. So if you wait full retirement age and then you turn it on, it's going to be 1/2 of whatever your spouse's full retirement age benefit is. No, it doesn't affect your spouse's benefit. No. So if you're a spouse that qualifies, I mean, a scenario that has played out multiple times is say a wife stays at home for 30 years and doesn't work, but the husband had the earning credits, and then his benefit is $2,400. The spouse would qualify for $1,200. The working spouse would still get the $2,400. So you'd get a total of $3,600 benefit. Yeah. So, I mean, go ahead. We'll go into that a second, because there's ways that you can either claim under yours or claim under your spouse's, and so we'll go into that a little bit. These are great questions that we'll actually, yeah, can't do well. I have to ask you a true and false question, and we just let the cat out of the bag. So you guys are too good. You guys are on it. This is, again, addressing spousal benefit. So if you do take it early, your spouse takes his or her benefit and you turn yours on, you do get a discount just like normal. So you won't get 50% if you take it early. It's discounted. But the one thing that is different about spousal benefit is when you hit your full retirement age, if you are going to take spousal benefit, there's no benefit by waiting after 66. To whereas if you're retiring under your earning credits, your retirement, it keeps going up until age 70. But under spousal, there's no benefit by waiting past age 66 or what's considered your full retirement age based on your birthday. So if somebody is going to go under spousal, you don't want to think like, oh, I'm going to wait till I'm 68 to turn on spousal, because you're still only going to get 50% of what the spouse's full retirement benefit is. Okay. This is kind of how they calculate if you do take the early retirement, and there's a new combined benefit, because it does impact your benefit. And so that's what this is talking about here, how filing for early benefits could reduce the spousal benefit. This shows you an example here where Morgan's 50% of Morgan's was $1,200 minus Sydney's, her primary insurance is $1,000. So the excess is $200. Since she turned it on early, that excess of $200, see, she turned it on early and took $1,000. That excess calculates what she will get as far as a combined benefit from spousal. So the reality is don't necessarily think you have to understand these calculations and run them yourself. That's where logging into Social Security's website will start to give you some of that. And then, as painful as sometimes as the calls can be, you make a call to Social Security and try to find out about your specific situation. Social Security is one of those systems where there's not technically a lot of great advisors or help involved at Social Security. One of the reasons that we try to do workshops like this, that's why we do radio show, podcast, and try to get information out there to answer these questions. I've even heard that the Social Security office in town doesn't even have a human in it. I've heard you walk in and it's just a phone sitting there, and when you pick it up, it calls Social Security. I can't confirm that, but I did hear that the other day, and I thought that's a bummer because obviously Social Security is such an important part in people's financial planning. Restricted application. So when I said that things are changing because we're plugging along as far as the years go and the when your full retirement age is, this is a strategy that is actually aged out because this is a strategy that was able to be used for people that were born before January 1st, 1954, which if you were born at that time, that takes you over the age of 70. So if you're over the age of 70, there's no real strategic way to decide on whether or not to take Social Security. You've either taken it, or if you are the age of 70, you should turn it on ASAP, right? And so there used to be different strategies that you could use with Social Security. One used to be called file and suspend, where you could turn it on and then you would suspend it. And based on some criteria, it might make sense for you. But the Budget Act of 2016 that Obama put in place eliminated that as one strategy. And then, like I said, this is another strategy that if you're of that age, you're already 70, and so you don't need to be making strategy decisions regarding Social Security. So this one is basically expired for those folks. This is like the last year that might even make sense for people. And that's what this is talking about, the restricted application, which, like I said, it's aged out because you'd already be age 70. The survivor benefit is based on the earnings of the person who died. And this is the benefit that we said can start as early as age 60. Full survivor benefit can be claimed if at full retirement age. If you remarry before age 60, you will forfeit the survivor benefit while you are married. So that is one thing to remember with the survivor benefit. If there is a remarriage, then you forego your survivor benefit. If that marriage ends in an unfortunate death, you can go and then take the old benefit now that the death has occurred. Because unfortunately, if the marriage ended in divorce or annulment, you can't go back then and get the old benefits of your ex-spouse. So just to again, everybody's situation is unique. Okay.
So it's good for our folks online. We want to be sure that they hear the question.
The question was, if the surviving spouse also has Social Security, does hers or his change at all if the other spouse passes away?
No.
Okay.
No. So these benefits don't impact at all the benefit of the other person. Yeah. So switching from worker benefit to a survivor benefit can make sense in certain situations. And so if you are a person that is in this situation where you have both benefits, you actually can possibly consider turning on one and then turning on another, or vice versa. But you can't have both on at the same time. And that's what I think one of the questions was earlier is if you qualify for two benefits, you can only choose one. So typically what you're doing is you're choosing the highest benefit that is available to you, whether that's your work history or whether that's your spousal benefit or survivor benefit, if that's your situation. So before you make a decision, again, you can look at these two approaches. This is an example here where lifetime benefits, like there's scenarios where, and this again is where each of your guys' situations are unique, where you may be, a couple that's wanting to retire at 62. And so the thing that makes the most sense is both turning on your benefits at 62. Now there's a survivor benefit in the future. Lifetime benefit is 742. Here's some other ways where one person takes a survivor benefit and then switches over to a retirement benefit, where you can see that if you guys, depending on these criteria here, you could end up making a little bit more from that strategy there. but it's very unique to each person's situation. And again, it's easy to run scenarios where you know when a husband or a spouse is going to pass away. But you want to just at least kind of think through these things, try to make the best decision possible, and navigate through whatever the future holds.
Just a second, let me have you.
Okay, let's say you both have retired and you're getting benefits, and you reach that total amount of 800,000, you have no more?
No. Well, I mean, in this scenario, yes, because Janet has died and Paul has died.
If you've got a survivor,
Well,
one of you is still surviving,
this is,
or if you're both still surviving, once you reach that total amount on the bottom, I'm asking, is that the bottom?
no.
Okay. So that's not the total amount you get in your lifetime.
Well, yes, in this scenario, because Paul passed away at 80 and then Janet took the survivor benefit because he passed away. And so throughout their lifetime, that's the total that this couple got based on this scenario.
So those aren't amounts that end when one person dies, that's not the last amount that you get.
No, the last amount you get was based on your lifetime experience. I mean, whenever you pass away, your benefit will stop. If there's a spousal benefit that's available, that's what I mean to say, where, see, this is showing you a scenario where Paul passed away at 80. They turned on these benefits here. So there was a monthly benefit for the survivor. Correct. Yep.
Can you repeat that part?
The comment
no
was
cap.
your benefits continue as long as you're alive. And yes, it's not like you reach some point and they say, okay, yeah, nope. That's just saying the lifetime benefits that they received because they both had passed away at that point.
It's not like, hey, you've lived long enough.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. Again, this is lifelong guaranteed income. Go back to the original name of Social Security, which I can't even remember. Old age, lifetime income, guarantee. I don't even know what it was called, but yeah, it's guaranteed for your life. And then if there is a spousal benefit, it's guaranteed for the rest of their life if it makes sense for them to use that benefit. So the impact of divorce, divorced spouse, you may be entitled to Social Security benefit based on your ex's work record. You had to be married at least 10 years. You have to obtain the minimum age required to take the benefit, and you have to be unmarried, which we mentioned that just a second ago. Your own worker benefit would be lower than that of ex-spouse's benefit. So you would be looking at what you could earn on your own history. You look at what 50% is of your ex's, and you could technically still turn that on. Again, this is one of those fun phone calls that you'll get to sit and wait and try to talk to somebody at Social Security that can help you understand what your specific situation is. And a lot of people ask, does this affect my ex's benefit? No, it's completely separate. You don't have to all of a sudden contact them. Their benefit's not going to be impacted by you turning on a spousal benefit. It's solely based on the ex, spousal benefit that you're still due because you meet that criteria. Retroactive benefits, if you postpone benefits past full retirement age, you can actually request a lump sum payment for up to 6 months of retroactive benefits. Your future benefits would be based on the lower amount because you basically hit reverse. So a lot of people didn't realize that you can do this. This is typically you've reached full retirement age. You get 6 months past full retirement age, maybe say, air conditioning goes out, you have to replace your roof and this and that all at once, and you don't have other access to funds. You actually can request 6 months worth of payments and go back 6 months ago and act like you turned it on 6 months ago, and you'd get that little lump sum of money. So not used very often. Most people don't know that that's available, but it is available to you. So the question was, is that at age 70? No, that's when you reach your full retirement age, which goes back to that chart that based on your birth year, age 66 to 67, based on your birth year. So That is something that is available. I have not seen this strategy used all that much, but it is an option that for whatever reason Social Security makes available, that you can basically hit rewind, get a 6-month lump sum, and go back to an amount that you would have gotten 6 months ago.
That's not you receiving benefits. Like you're not receiving benefits at the time. You're just going back 6 months to collect that lump sum.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, a scenario would say somebody's full retirement age was 67. I was going to make the decision. I was going to wait till 68, and my financial world got turned upside down, and I needed $20,000. I could request to turn this on. They'll give me 6 months, up to 6 months worth of a lump sum, and then they'll basically calculate my new monthly benefit as if I had turned it on 6 months ago. So you're not receiving benefits. You're going to wait till 68, and for whatever reason, you end up saying, nope, I need a lump sum of money, and I'm going to go back 6 months ago and turn it on what my benefit would have been 6 months ago.
But you're definitely going to get a lower price, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get I mean, you're literally rewinding 6 months.
Like,
And Social Security is a benefit that goes up basically every day, every month. It continually kind of climbs upward. So it's not like you drop off a cliff if you go back 6 months ago, because your benefit with Social Security continues to accrue almost daily, basically, until you finally turn it on. So if you do say, for whatever reason, you want the 6 months lump sum, you can turn it on, get the lump sum, and then you'll get the amount that you would have got 6 months ago, monthly amount that you would have got 6 months ago.
okay, but it also when you hit 70, it expires. You just lose it if you don't turn it on.
Correct.
Okay.
It doesn't go up. It doesn't go up past age 70. So if you're 70, turn on Social Security.
But if
retirement.
you're 71, you just don't collect Social Security at all.
I don't know. Do you know, Dustin? If somebody waited till 71, are they going to back pay you 6 months based on this?
So repeat the
The
question.
government just shoving money at you, you know?
Can you repeat?
So the comment was basically they make you turn it on at age 70. So I don't know if this would necessarily impact you, but point being, it doesn't go up past age 70. If you're at 70, turn it on. I haven't talked to too many people that wait that long and they get a forced check in their bank account. So you're whether or not, yeah. So they say if you take the lump sum, are you going to be taxed on it? You are going to be taxed on it based on how Social Security is taxed. It's unique for each person's situation. We'll actually talk about Social Security and taxes here in just a second. But yes, if you're a person that is in an income level where you are paying taxes on your Social Security, then yes, if you get that lump sum, you are going to end up owing taxes on it. But I imagine if this strategy was chosen for whatever reason, when you do choose to do this, they could also ask you if you want to have taxes withheld. So if you got a lump sum and you said, hey, withhold some taxes for me, they might withhold taxes. The one beautiful thing about California, they don't tax Social Security. And I know probably some of you guys are surprised about that, but they don't. Federally, they do. So you can tell Social Security, withhold 10 or 15 or 12% federal taxes for me, and then they would give you that lump sum. A lot of people, when they choose their monthly amount, which is the more normal way that I've seen it done, they choose to withhold a little bit of taxes based on their situation.
Chris, there's a question that came in. Today's my 69th birthday. What documents do I need to order and to apply?
For Social Security?
Correct.
So the Social Security website that I mentioned earlier, ssa.gov, you go to that, get your online access, and then through that, there's a process in there that will tell you what you need to do to apply for benefits. Yep. Thank you.
I'm a little confused about the spouse getting benefits. So say you're both 65, you both retire, you've both worked, and you both collect your own Social Security. Does one of the spouses still capable or able to take the other spouse's portion as well?
No. You'd take whichever one would be bigger.
So only, okay, so the one that takes a portion of the others is only if they're not doing their own Social Security.
Correct. Yep.
Clarified. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah. So do over or reset. So this would be somebody that has not reached full retirement age. It's available once in your lifetime. You have applied, like the individual from online just asked about the application process. Turn on the application. Within 12 months of receiving benefits, for whatever reason, I want to change my mind. I want to put it back and I want to wait, which could happen because sometimes people retire at 62 and, believe it or not, get bored and maybe find a job making more money. And so now you're going to be paying taxes on your Social Security that you turned on early retirement. It could make sense. Now, one of the reasons why I don't see this used all that often is, look right here. What does it say you have to do? You have to have been getting all that money from Social Security and been socking it in an account, and you have to pay it all back to basically do the do-over or reset strategy. And it's not been my experience that when people turn on Social Security and have that extra 1,000 or 2,000 a month, depending on their situation, that it's just sitting there unused. Most of the time it's turned on because they need it. But that can be a tough situation, is if you do turn on early retirement, which is age 62, and then you find a job, maybe making as good of money as you were before or whatever. Now you're pushing yourself up into some pretty high tax brackets possibly, and now you're going to be paying some pretty heavy taxes on the Social Security that you're getting. Because a lot of times people ask, well, what is it about full retirement age, or why is 67 and 70 and these ages? In reality, your benefit from Social Security is basically just on a sliding scale that goes up until you turn it on at age 70. The difference between early retirement and full retirement is how it's taxed. If you turn on your benefit before age 67 or when your full retirement age is, they have earning restrictions. Yep. Yeah, they have earning restrictions. Yep. So this is a benefit, or this is a strategy that you can use if somebody turned it on and for whatever reason wanted to turn it off. Like I said, I haven't seen it used a whole lot because you got to write a big old check back to Social Security, and then you can wait to turn it on when you choose. Say again? Yeah, so this would be somebody that changed their mind. Say you won the lottery, which is not often, but say somebody did. They could say, well, I'm going to wait until I'm 70 to turn on Social Security because I don't need the money now. They could pay back money to Social Security, wait till 70, you'll get that higher amount because you paid back what you got from Social Security. Okay? So here's some things that do impact your Social Security payment: taxes, retirement earnings test, which is what we just talked about, early retirement. There is something that impacts some people's Social Security, windfall elimination provision. There's another thing that impacts some pensions called government pension offset. And then there's Medicare premiums that are paid out of your Social Security check as well. So taxes, this is what somebody just asked about. This shows you right here that single filers, joint filers, if this is your income level is within those, you pay 50% of your Social Security will be added to your federal taxable income. If it's over those amounts, then 85% will be added to your federal taxable income. Right. So say
Taking 50% of your money.
no. That's not your tax rate. So let me clarify that for you. Good. Correct. So say you get $24,000 from Social Security, $2,000 a month. If you're within these parameters, $12,000 of your Social Security benefit is going to be added to your taxable income level and then taxed. Not paid back in taxes, but will be added to your taxable income level. Thank you for helping me clarify there. And then if you're over that, then 85% of your benefit. So if you're getting that $24,000, then about $20,000 is going to be added to your federal tax level that you pay. Well, so if you pay taxes on $60,000 and you turn on Social Security, you don't have to add all 100% to your taxable income level. Okay? Well, so like say somebody has a pension, say a husband and wife have two pensions from the county. And then, yep. So you still have income. It's not earned income, but you still have income. Okay. All right. So retirement earnings test. This goes to people who turn on Social Security prior to full retirement age. So you turn on Social Security at 62 to 67, or whenever your full retirement age is. You do have to take in the retirement earnings test in order. So basically, what this is telling you here is that for every $1 in benefits, let me say that again. $1 in benefits is deducted from your Social Security benefit for every $2 you earn above this limit. So if you have $30,000 of earned income, $4,000 of your Social Security will be paid back in a tax. So the biggest thing you can take away from this is if you are going to have earned income and continue working, you might really think seriously about whether or not to turn on Social Security prior to your full retirement age. Reason is because I hear all the time people say, well, I don't care. I don't know about Social Security. I'm going to turn it on as soon as I can. I'm going to have extra income. Well, what you've done is you've locked in a lower amount for the rest of your life. And if you're earning over these amounts, you're going to be giving some of it back to Social Security. So it's like you've shot yourself in the foot twice.
For your whole life? Does that apply for your whole lifetime or just until you reach full retirement age?
Just until you reach full retirement age. So for those 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is, until you've reached your full retirement age, then it goes down to this down here, where you can earn up to $60,000 that year, and they only keep $1 in benefits for every 3 you earn above this amount, which that's a much bigger amount. And then after that, you can earn unlimited. If you wait to turn on Social Security benefits, yep. Yeah.
Can you repeat?
So the question was, so is it better to turn it on early? And the answer always with everything in here is it depends. It really does depend on your situation. If you are earning money and still working, there's not a lot of times that I say, well, yeah, turn on Social Security and you're going to have extra money. Now, somebody may have to do that. I mean, I'm not judging people for making that decision. But if you're wanting to make the wisest choice possible and try to get the most from Social Security and have the most income for the rest of your lifetime, if you're still earning above these amounts, then don't shoot yourself in the foot and turn it on early and have to give money back. Like you could have to give a pretty big chunk back in taxes because it's considered an early retirement. And now you're subject to the earnings test. And so, one of the things, like I told you, I've heard it all the time. If somebody had a super high interest rate credit card or something like that, there could be a discussion of whether or not it makes sense. But most people say, I'm going to start taking this money and I'm going to start sticking it in my savings account. Well, for the last 10 years, how much have we all made on our savings accounts in the banks? Zero. Now, with the caveat of inflation and what's going on right now, we are all making a little bit more in our savings accounts and maybe CDs at the bank. So you're at least making a little bit, but it doesn't make sense to get money from Social Security to pay a bunch back because you're above this limit, right? And then you're sticking it in the bank and making, for the last 10 years, almost nothing. And even now you're only making 2 or 3%. So, and that's one of the things that you can, each situation's different and unique. Hopefully you have somebody you can trust and talk to. That's what we try to talk to our clients about and help them make these decisions. But yeah,
Chris, we have a quick question. This is a
Okay.
follow-up to the individual who had turned 69 today.
Okay.
About what documents. But then the follow-up was, do I apply January 2025 to receive benefits in June 2025? I guess they're wanting to know what's the time frame from when I apply to when I receive.
Do we have any wonderful Social Security recipients who can say recently how long it takes to get your first check? I've heard like 2 months. So the wonderful gentleman that shared his information said it takes a little bit to come to you, but then it will be retroactive to when your application was approved. Okay. Okay. So for the surviving spouse benefit, you had to wait. Yeah, retirement. Yep.
Chris, not a social security, no, not a social security question, but ask: does money from a 401k count as earned income?
Not as far as not for Justin. Can you help me? So it does go for your taxable income level. Yeah. So if it comes out of the 401k, it's still going to increase your income as far as what's being taken into consideration.
Can you try to repeat a little?
Yeah. So say that again.
I guess my question is if I continue working, I say, okay, I want to turn on my Social Security at 62, and I continue working and I make $50,000, that by the test there, I'm going to have to pay my Social Security back.
Not
Can
all
I
of it.
take that money, that 50,000 I made somewhere else and put it like in an IRA or something?
No, so
and
so
not-
you would be able to keep that income and pay normal taxes on it. What you would be talking about is if you were making $50,000 and working, and what you chose to do is to turn on Social Security. So you're making 50, you're adding $20,000 of extra income to your now earned income and $20,000 of Social Security income. So now your total annual income is 70,000, and you're going to end up having to give quite a bit of it back based on these numbers. So you give back every $1 for every $2 above that amount in taxes. So again, as much as possible, I've seen it time and time again that the misconception is I want to turn this on and just build up this money, but you end up giving a lot back if you're still earning income and making a decent wage. You're giving a lot of it back to Social Security. And so you're still making more money because you went from 50,000 to 70,000, but you're getting a lot less of your Social Security. So remember when I showed you that break even chart? Well, think about the fact of if you turn it on at 62 and you're still working, the lifetime earnings isn't going to be the same because you're going to give a bunch of it back in taxes. So your lifetime earnings is actually going to go down because you're paying some of it back because you turned it on while you're still making wages. So
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something. So the deduction that you get actually doesn't go away completely. In the later years when you're past your full retirement age and eventually retire, your benefit goes up higher than it would have been had you not paid back those dollars.
Okay. Good.
You earned income for taxable purposes, but that doesn't play into this scenario, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, because your taxes, you're still going to show that your taxable income is $60,000 if you're pulling money out of a 401k or an IRA. Your taxable level's still up there, so you're still going to end up paying. Correct.
Chris, we have a question, and it has to do with. I'll give what the question is. My husband draws Social Security and has CalPERS retirement. I do not have this individual does not have enough quarters to qualify for Social Security, and therefore does not collect Social Security. My retirement, this individual's retirement is STRS, State Teachers Retirement. They both retired and are age 72 and 71. If her husband passes, does she qualify for his Social Security benefits even though she's in STRS?
Okay. Say this again. So one of the things I will say, like some of these situations are very unique and
Yes.
individualized. Okay. So what I would say is there's a free analysis that we can run and even meeting that we can set up. So instead of answering a specific
Gotcha.
STRS and PERS question, let me continue to go through
Sounds good.
some of these slides because some of the things might even be addressed. Maybe
Okay.
not exactly with STRS and PERS, but I will share a little bit of that through here.
Sounds good. Was there a question?
Okay, I'm back on the I'm back on the question about the 401k. Is that also true of if you have a pension?
Yes.
So that I realize that that pension is your earned income,
Mhm.
and then you turn on Social Security, but you're no longer working. The Social Security, it still goes $1 for every $2 that you earn over 22,320.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you stay under the 59,000, then you're not going to be charged the extra $1 on every 3 earned.
Yes, and this is only specific to the year that you hit full retirement age. Once you get past your full retirement age, so somebody may get to their full
Right.
retirement age and earn for 6 months, and depending on what your earnings is, you could beat this in, if you're a high earner and you make $100,000 in 6
But
months.
under that retirement age limit, if you keep your income level low, then you can still do that.
Yeah, it'd have
other
to
words,
be
if you're not
under the
working-
$22,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is only talking about the year that you turn your full retirement age. So they increase it the year you turn full retirement age up to $60,000. The years before that, it's $22,000. Yep. Okay, and so one of the things I mentioned earlier, which kind of goes along the lines with STRS and PERS and stuff, is you can be impacted by what's called the windfall elimination provision. And what this is basically for people that maybe qualify for Social Security but didn't pay substantial years and substantial earnings into the system, and then the rest of your earnings career you participated in the STRS program that she just talked about, State Teachers Retirement Program, you can be impacted what your Social Security benefit will be. What this shows you is the most that they will drop your Social Security benefit by per year. So in 2022, it was $498. I haven't even seen the 2023 numbers yet, but basically, some people barely pay enough into Social Security to get a benefit, and their benefit is $400 or $500 a month. And that is a substantial benefit based on what was actually paid into the system throughout their lifetime. The rest of the 20 years, they were working in the state teacher's retirement. So based on their certain situation, they can decrease your Social Security benefit by whatever up to this maximum amount. So I tell people it is a bummer because sometimes teachers didn't work a whole lot out of the classroom. They may still qualify because of some earnings. Their benefit is $400, and lo and behold, they keep $400. So you almost get nothing. If you have been somebody that worked in the private sector and then the public sector and then was a teacher, and if your benefit is $1,600 a month, the most that they'll keep from your benefit is that $498, or it's probably a little bit over $500 now. So they won't keep it all, but they will keep up to that maximum amount that the windfall elimination provision will impact. Federal pensions, correct. It applies to most people with federal pensions too, was the comment.
So I want to clarify, where I work, we have a contributory savings plan. That's what it's called. And I also pay into Social Security. So I want to clarify the age, the windfall and all of that. I understand that, but if I don't draw Social Security until my age is 67, the age to qualify. So if I don't draw my Social Security until 67 or even 68 or 69, does the windfall still come into effect?
Yes.
It does.
But in your situation, you say that you're paying into Social Security.
I am now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been in the contributory savings plan for 30 some years. For the last 3 or 4 years, I've been paying into Social Security, and I did pay into it when I was younger.
Right.
So does all of that factor in if you turn on your Social Security early, or if I wait and don't turn it on until I'm 68, am I still affected by the windfall?
Yeah, you're still going to be impacted by it based on your earnings history. Now, when you say if you wait, if you're earning more and you're paying into Social Security for the next 3 or 4 years,
Mhm.
and it's substantial earnings, or at least
Right,
based on your work history,
right.
it will positively impact how much you will get to keep because you're adding more into your earnings history.
Because the amount that they take out won't go over the set amount that's
Yeah, the most that they'll take out of your benefit is $498. So if right now Social Security says your benefit is $600 a month, you'll at least get $200 a month. And if you
Okay.
keep earning more, it'll go up.
It's actually
And
way
it
more
may
than
not
that.
be,
So
and
yeah.
based on your earnings history, that's why I say each person's situation is unique.
Okay.
Your earnings history may not be the full max, the 498. I'm just saying that there's a cap on how much that it will impact you.
And so what if I wait to draw Social Security at 70?
So it's
Is there
still going to be
still
the
an
same.
impact?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's still going to be the same. And if you're waiting, your benefit will go up, but you'll still have the same impact of what the windfall does. If you're not earning, you're not adding anything to it, the amount that they're going to keep is still going to be the
The
same,
same. Okay.
but the amount that you'll get is a little bit higher because you waited 3 years.
You've put more in.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris, I think we had a question. Let me get over here and then I'll be right back.
So if you have stirs, does that mean, and you do not have enough quarters for your Social Security benefit, can they flat refuse to give you spousal benefits?
I'm not sure how spousal benefits is impacted by windfall because you'd still have spousal, but it may be impacted by this amount possibly.
But they can totally refuse to give you anything for spousal
Well, no,
just
because
you make money on stirs.
no, because you would qualify for spousal based on a spouse's earnings history. And then you could get that, but then your benefit you get as a spouse might be impacted by the windfall because you do have stirs. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a scenario. Retire at 62 after you work for somebody for 40 years, live on your pension for a couple of years, and then you turn on Social Security 1 month after your eligible date. And then you get your benefit based on your 35 peak year, so to speak. And a couple of years later, the phone rings and you're invited to go back to work and you're making an amount of money which causes your 35-year average to increase. Does that benefit increase?
Yes, I believe during if your earnings go up, it can skew your Social Security benefit positively. No,
Yeah.
no, because he's saying he goes back to work at 65 and he's paying into Social Security now. So now your peak years could go up and it will positively impact your monthly benefit. Yep.
Is there an age limitation on that?
I'm not sure if it goes past 70. I'd
Just
have to
takes
look
me
that
to my
up for
earlier
you.
Question: am I too old?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it will continue to go up past 70 because remember, 70 is that golden year for Social Security where your benefits don't go up past 70. So it seems like it would be capped once you hit 70.
Okay. DOA.
But they'll still keep FICA taxes out of your earnings if you're over 70 in earning. I know they'll do that. So, all right, a couple more real quick. Government pension offset. This is another one that impacts like federal pensions, train pensions, which obviously, some of that generation that worked in the trains back in the day, was more impacted. And so this was something I saw more late, more few years ago, but it is something that does impact some pensions. So it's kind of like the windfall provision, but it's for certain federal pensions and how those are impacted. Medicare premiums. So I'll kind of go through this. If you're, obviously if you turn on Medicare, some of the premiums come out of your paycheck, and then Part B premiums are based on adjusted gross income, and that is based on your reported income on your tax returns for 2 years prior to the plan. Higher income individuals pay higher premiums. These are the numbers for 2024. So Part A, this is individual, this is joint. Part A deductible 1632. Part B is 174. Part B premiums 243 to 655 individual versus joint, and Part B annual deductibles 240. I put this over here to remind you again when we talked earlier about cost of living adjustments. Premiums have gone up consistently and go up, and they will continue to go up. And so even though those cost of living adjustments don't feel like a windfall or a major raise, they are helping take care of rising premium costs for Medicare. And that's kind of the goal, is to keep at least some level of income coming in for Social Security and retirees. When should you enroll in Medicare? When you turn 65, 3 months before you turn 65. Some people try to plan ahead or go at 62 and 63. I guarantee you Medicare is going to be way different in a year from now, and what your options are and what companies are offering. So typically, even though you may like to be planning ahead, 3 months before you turn 65, go talk to a professional or start, make your decision then, because things are going to be a lot different 6 months from now or a year from now if you're super young. One of the things I was going to talk about real quick is just Roth IRA. So we talked about some of these income restrictions and stuff, and a Roth IRA can be a good strategic tool to keep your tax level down in retirement and still have the same income coming in that you're using to meet your income needs and goals for retirement. This is obviously, you have to kind of put this in place for a long time, but some people can, based on certain situations, convert some of their funds from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. If you do retire and maybe there's a few years that you're going to be living off savings or something, sometimes buyout packages happen. And once that runs out, there's ways to be strategic, possibly convert some traditional IRA assets over to Roth IRA assets, because then when those come out, it's not being added to your taxable income. So, and then there's no RMDs, which are called required minimum distributions, that we have to pull out of our traditional IRA accounts at age 73 now. Used to be 70 and a half. It got changed to 72 and just recently got up to age 73 with the Secure Act 2.0. So that got changed as well. This shows you a scenario where an individual had a Roth IRA. And so they're basically pulling out the same amount of income or having the same income, but on paper, this one's only $31,000 of taxable income, to where this one's coming out of a traditional IRA. So it's $67,000 taxable. So you're having to pay it. The 85% is getting added to your taxes. Here, nothing is getting added to your taxes. So Roth can be a strategic tool for that. So we talked earlier about true or false. Can I receive two benefits simultaneously, a spousal benefit, one based on my own work record? We went over this. What is it? False. You cannot take two benefits even if you qualify for both. So what you do is you look at what two you qualify and you see which one makes the most sense or makes the most money. There could be a situation where you turn on one and switch over to another one later. So you can switch from my own retirement benefits, and then at 67 or 66, I switch over to my spousal benefit. Okay. Benefits I will receive will exceed payroll taxes I paid over my career. Will you get more money from Social Security than you paid in? What's the magic word I tell you that? Say it again. It depends. Depends when you die. That's right. I mean, it really does depend. But most lifetime now, you'll get about back what you paid into it. And so a lot of people complain about Social Security, that I could have done better if the money went into an investment strategy and stuff like that. And I understand that. But remember, Social Security was not started as we're going to sock away all this money and give it back later. It comes out of working people's paychecks and pays retirees. And love or hate it, it has been a successful way to keep at least a lot of people in this country at a level of existence and taking care of some of their needs and retirement income for life, where some people unfortunately wouldn't have maybe been able to handle investments and to handle distributions wisely. And if they ran out of money, they might have ran out of the money that would have been invested in the Social Security as well. And then the third one is Social Security is going bankrupt. Kind of false. So again, like I just said, it's not like there's a big bucket of money that is paying all these benefits. But there is a bucket of money because when we very first started, there was a lot more workers than people that were retired. As we Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. That the dynamics of our country and our economy right now is the baby boomer generation is much bigger than the younger generation. And so that's why Social Security is under pressure, because not enough people are working and paying in to pay out to the amount of people that are going to be transitioning and turning on. Now, it doesn't mean that we go bankrupt. There is a little bit of a slush fund, an extra amount of money that's being used to supplement benefits. About 25% of the payments that go out. So if you're getting $1,000, $250 of it is coming from that extra slush fund. That is slowly decreasing and going away. So when people say it's running out of money, it's that extra fund. If that little slush fund of money was empty, we would still be able to pay out 75% of benefits roughly, and the 25% would be gone. But this is the same issue that was addressed back in the 80s when I told you they changed from 65 to 66 to 67. They probably increased taxes a little bit. So there could be some things that they do need to change to address the situation.
Hey, Chris, we have a question right here.
Does that does that include all the money that was loaned out of Social Security? I mean, there's a lot the government owes back, right?
Right. Well, I mean, that's what the interest payments are going towards. And obviously the interest payments are something of concern, but it's also helped the money that would have just been sitting there earn money, which actually in one sense did help Social Security continue to pay benefits for this long.
Quick question, Chris, and it goes back a bit. Can you clarify what paying into Social Security means? Doesn't everyone on a W-2 already pay into that?
So any earned income is going to be subject to what is called FICA taxes.
Right.
And FICA taxes is what is considered paying into Social Security. But there are some careers, CalSTRS, if you're participating in CalSTRS, the state teachers retirement, you're not having money go to Social Security. Instead, the money that's coming out is going into the state pension program, and that's where you get your retirement benefit from. Okay? So Social Security is not necessarily going bankrupt, but it definitely has issues. This is what we were just talking about right here to put some numbers to it. In 1950, there was 16 and a half workers for every retiree. Today, there's in 2020, there was 2.8. In 2035, they're anticipating about 2.3 workers for every retiree. So there's not as many people paying into the system versus taking out of the system. So this is why the extra slush fund is slowly running out of money. That is what they're talking about. If it runs out, it's about a 25% hit to benefits. But, you know, it's hard to say anymore, like I'm super hopeful, but I do believe that they'll address this issue. I just don't think that, you know, right now they're not necessarily, they won't deal with that until probably the 9th hour. If you've realized something about our government and our Congress, they're not going to do something until they absolutely have to. They probably could have alleviated some pain by acting earlier, but that unfortunately is not the situation we find ourselves in. But I definitely tell people to, Social Security will be there in some way, shape, or form. But you can just navigate through that, whatever ends up happening. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
So there's just discussions going on whether IRA distributions, 401k distributions count as earned income as far as early retirement is what you're talking about. The retirement earnings test that we talked about earlier. So let me see if there's anything else. Decisions that could impact your retirement lifestyle. When you retire, if you have employer plan assets, you can transfer them to an IRA. You can convert tax-deferred assets to a Roth IRA if it makes sense in your situation. Like I said, that's one thing that you can do depending on your situation. You can also create a do-it-yourself pension. So some people are hearing about these pensions and may say, I don't have a pension. There is ways that you can create guaranteed income for life through pension or annuity programs through insurers. Now, there's pros and cons for everything, so you have to do your due diligence, work with somebody you trust who's going to tell you the pros and the cons, and see whether or not something makes sense for your situation. So you can do it yourself. You can work with others. If you are working with a trusted professional, good for you. if you'd like to work with us, it's one of the things that we're getting out and educating people and talking to people about. Like I said, you can even get a little free analysis on your situation. If you do have your Social Security printouts, you actually can get a free analysis, or you can procrastinate and just wait till the last minute and do it later. So, yeah. All right. Hopefully we covered a lot of the questions as we kind of cruise through this. I think we kind of went a little bit over as far as time. Don't want to keep you much longer, but really appreciate you guys, participating and getting out here today. And hopefully it does help you kind of think through all the things that Social Security is and Social Security isn't. And so, yeah, do we have time for questions?
Yeah, I think we certainly have time for questions. We have one here.
What is a Roth?
Roth.
What is that?
So a Roth IRA is an individual retirement account that you pay taxes on it as it goes in, and then you don't pay taxes on it as it comes out. So most of the time we use traditional IRAs where you're getting a tax write-off as the money goes in, and then you pay taxes when it comes out later. So a Roth IRA is just a different. Correct. Yeah, that's what I mean to say. Like the chart about the Roth IRA making sense. It doesn't make sense for somebody that's making high wages. It makes more sense for them to get the write-off. Even if you're going to pay a little bit of taxes on your Social Security, it's better to do that because you're avoiding paying taxes at maybe some super high tax brackets. So each person's situation is a little bit different, but with retirement accounts, individual retirement accounts, you can choose to either pay your taxes now and then get a tax-free distribution, or you can pay your taxes or get a write-off and pay your taxes later when you pull it out.
If you have a traditional IRA now and you want to convert it to a Roth, do you pay taxes on the total amount?
Not on the total amount of the Roth, but whatever you choose to convert. So you may be in a situation where you've gone from high earnings and maybe say there's a year or two where you're living off savings for whatever reason, or you sold a house or something like this. And then you can say, well, hey, our taxable level is actually only at 40,000. We can take $20,000 and add it to our taxable income, convert it to a Roth, and you're maybe staying under a much lower bracket than when you would have paid taxes on that when you were earning. And so you only pay taxes on a Roth conversion on what amount you choose to convert.
Chris, we have a question. Let me get it here. How does a health savings account impact Social Security taxes?
I don't believe it does. Health savings account is used to pay premiums and different medical expenses. And so that I don't believe shows as earned income or taxable
I
income.
believe you're correct. Yes. Are there any other questions? Oh, we have one right over here.
I like making Michael George work. This is great, guys.
Now somebody over there. I'm actually looking for help in deciding whether I should start already.
Mhm.
I'm about to turn 62. I'm having job issues. I'm having health issues, and I'm trying to find somebody to help me decide that.
Mhm.
Are you guys somebody that can help me with that?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean to say, where if you want to sit down and run an analysis, if you get your printout from Social Security, get your online access set up. And and you could either email it to us or you could set up an appointment and come in. But if you do get that to us, and then we can run an analysis and get that analysis back to you and follow up with any questions. So it's up to you. If you'd like to come in for a free consultation, we can do that. Yeah. Yep.
Chris, one question is, when you start mid-year, is there a first-year exemption for the $21,000 cap since you have likely surpassed that earlier in the year?
No. So that's why you have to be really careful. That is why. So what if you understand the question is, they're saying, well, if I turn on Social Security later that year, well, I earned money for 10 months. And so I'm probably definitely going to be over that 22,000. Well, that's why you would want to wait until the next year. You'd want to wait those 2 months. You'd want to have a plan where you would be accounting for your tax situation. And that is why the year that you hit your full retirement age, it goes from 22,000 to 69,000, because they actually increase the amount. They give you a little bit more leeway that if you retire halfway through the year that you already earned for 6 months. And so it's up at the $59,000 mark instead of the $22,000 mark. After you hit your full retirement age, it does no longer apply.
Another question. I will be retiring with a pension using the 2/3 dollar offset that gets used for the cost of living increase or the full amount.
Read that again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will be retiring with a pension using the 2/3 dollar offset get used for the cost of living increase or the full amount. What is the?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
not sure.
we better get
But-
some clarification
But
here.
they're going to have access to be able to like shoot us an email or call
Yeah.
MoneyWise with a question. So
Absolutely.
again, you know, Social Security is very unique to each person's situation. And there are scenarios, like I told you, I've been doing this for 20 years and I still always find new scenarios that I'm like, you think you would have heard it all by 15, 20 years of talking to people and Social Security and then making this decision. But there's still just so many unique scenarios and situations that are specific for your situation. So you do want to start thinking about this. Hopefully this helped you think about some of the things to consider. And then, like I said, there is a way that we can help you run an analysis if it's needed and if it'd be helpful for you.
Yeah, if I could reiterate one thing Chris talked about tonight. One, it depends. You know, what's best for me, it depends. And as I said at the beginning, don't do this alone. That's why MoneyWise exists, because everyone's situation is different. There's even scenarios that he went through that include different aspects that weren't even addressed. So it's important that you sit down with someone like MoneyWise so they can review what your income is going to be, what the best Social Security option for you is. As I tell people, to try to do this on your own by just calling up Social Security and trying to do it is not a good strategy.
No.
You definitely want to talk with a professional because everyone here has, you know, you in addition to the Social Security income you'll receive, you have a pension, you have a 401k. If you're a teacher, you have STIRS. So it's important that you sit down and cover all those bases before you make your decision on what you want to do with Social Security. So, and that's one reason we partner with MoneyWise at Save One Credit. We partner with MoneyWise on these topics because our members ask us these questions all the time, and we, you know, the more you know, the better decision you're going to make.
Yeah. So on your tables, the one form that has a bunch of lines, if you want to put your email address on there, we can email you the PowerPoint presentation to be able to go through that. You know, we covered a lot of great questions, so I appreciate that. But we can also get that email to you. And then, like I said, there is a way that if you want to set up an appointment, there's another card on there as well that you can fill out and leave with us so we can follow up with you.
One last question, and then this ties into what we talked about. It depends because they're asking. It sounds like the only benefit one may receive from another person is spousal. Is there any benefit like that one can receive from a parent or child?
Not with Social Security.
Right.
Nope. Well, I take that back. Part of Social Security, the other arm of it is Social Security disability.
Correct.
So Social Security disability has survivor's benefits, and like if a parent is disabled, kids get a monthly check until they turn 18, a few different things. So, you know, love it or hate the system. I tell people, you know, it actually kind of makes me proud in the sense that we do have a system that has lifelong income for individuals. If we have tragic situations where parents get disabled, kids get a little bit of money to help with some of the things. And while it may not be the best system, and there's definitely some things and challenges for the system, it's actually been a pretty successful system on some fronts. So hopefully you can make the most use of it for yourself in your own situation. And then, like I said, just try to get the most out of it, even though there's no way to make the perfect plan because we don't have the expiration date on file. But you just kind of make the best guess as far as what you think makes the most sense for your situation. So really appreciate you guys coming out. You know, love to talk to any of you if there's questions and, you know, anything to follow up with. And have a great night.
Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you.
Yeah, if you fill that out, just leave it at the table over there. Thank you very much, guys.